Hello, welcome to another video here on my YouTube channel. Today, we're gonna be talking about inulin. What is inulin? What are the benefits of inulin? And where can we find it in a raw diet? How can we add more inulin into our food choices? So if you're interested in learning more about that, stay tuned. Thank you again for joining me for yet another video here on my YouTube channel. Before we begin, don't forget we've got 40% off any or all of our raw vegan recipe ebooks that have a lot of inulin-rich foods in them. So if you're looking to grow your gut, looking to add more raw food to your life, even if you aren't a raw vegan, you just want to add more fresh food, check out our recipes. They're 40% off with code RAWFOOD40. The link is in the description box below. You can get the wrap book. You can get the burger book, raw vegan tacos, crunchy hard shell tacos galore, appetizers, salads, lots of different dressings and drizzles, smoothies, and ice cream, soups, stews, and curries, all kinds of good fun stuff that you can add to your life. And use code RAWFOOD40 at checkout. Again, link is in the description box below. Use code RAWFOOD40 if you want to get that discount. So today we're going to be talking about inulin. What is inulin? Well, inulin is a prebiotic extraordinaire. I love inulin. And as many of you know, I eat a lot of onions and garlic, which are very inulin-rich foods. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. But inulin is a prebiotic. And now, as we've mentioned before, prebiotics are the fibers that feed your probiotics, the beneficial bacteria, which produce the postbiotics. We talked all about short-chain fatty acids last week. If you want to watch that video, if you missed it, the link is in the description box below and you can go watch that video on short-chain fatty acids. But the inulin is a really amazing prebiotic, which ends up becoming short-chain fatty acids when it's fermented and digested by the probiotics. So inulin helps to regulate the gut. Not only is it growing the bacteria, but it also produces bulk for your stools and it makes your stools softer. So people who have constipation issues or even diarrhea has actually been shown to help with that as well, is to increase your inulin-rich foods, which we'll talk about later. But they create those bulky, more soft stools, which are easier to pass. Inulin has also been shown to increase glucose absorption in the gut. So it's part of healthy blood sugar balance, and it also helps with satiety as well. One thing that I was really surprised to learn about inulin is that it enhances calcium absorption. So for strong bones, teeth, and calcium usage, add more inulin-rich foods to your life so that you can absorb more calcium from them. It also helps to regulate the immune system because it feeds the gut. So, you know how everything is connected together. The inulin indirectly helps boost the immune system as well. And finally, inulin fermentation, which is what the bacteria do when they digest the fiber, produces that butyrate, that short-chain fatty acid that we talked about in the last video, which is linked to so many benefits, including lowering your risk for colon cancer, lowering inflammation in the gut, feeding your gut cells so that they can heal things like leaky gut or sensitive gut. There's so many benefits to the butyrate, which inulin produces. So it is a great thing to add to our diets. Eat more inulin-rich foods. So what are inulin-rich foods? Which foods can we eat to increase our inulin and thus increase all of these benefits that we can get from it? Well, my personal favorites, as I mentioned earlier, is onions and garlic and leeks and stuff like that. I love onions and garlic so much. And over the years, I have slowly increased a lot of my onion consumption to the point where I'm eating, I don't know, probably 1 to 2 onions a day now, especially in the wraps, because I use a lot of onion in the wraps. you're getting a lot of inulin when you're eating the wraps. So I add tons of onions to my salads, green onions and red onions. We chop up leeks and freeze them, and we add them to our raw soups and stews and curries, all those kinds of things. We add onions to our dressings and like our cashew sour cream that we put on our tacos, that has onion in it as well. So we do eat a lot of onion, and those I think have really helped increase our microbiome scores and our digestion in general. So those are my top 3 sources of inulin, but also sunchokes. Sunchokes are also another great source of inulin, and we've been eating a lot more sunchokes since we started our gut adventures. And sunchokes are a seasonal tuber root kind of a vegetable, and it's from the sunflower plant. Another name for it is Jerusalem artichoke. So if you are confused, Jerusalem artichoke is the same as a sunchoke, and you can usually buy them between September, October, all the way till about April. So they're kind of a wintry seasonal crop, and in April Nate and I like to buy cases of sunchokes, and then we chop them up and freeze them so that we can add them to our raw soups or throw a couple in a dressing or whatever, just to get that, you know, consistently in our diets over the summer months, because we can't get them over the summer months. They're probably coming in, I know this video, not sure when the season starts, but probably around now you should be able to find some sunchokes in certain grocery stores. We find them at multiple different places. I found them in Smith's, and Whole Foods, Sprouts usually has them, but the place that we find the best deal is actually at the Asian market, the international market. They have some really amazing fresh sunchokes, and they're fairly inexpensive. So that's where we like to get them, but you can always ask your grocery manager if they can order sunchokes in for you. Most grocery stores can, but a lot of them don't, because most people don't know what to do with them or how to make them. Or a lot of people will say, sunchokes give me too much gas, and it's not the sunchoke's fault. It's that your gut needs work and needs help to grow stronger so that you can enjoy more sunchokes. So start slow. If you are sensitive to any of these foods, onion, garlic, or the other ones that we're gonna mention, start slow. Start with 1 little sunchoke. Start with a tablespoon of chopped onion. Start with a 1/4 piece of garlic, but be consistent with small amounts and increase slowly over time until you can enjoy larger amounts to your heart's content, however much you want to add, still having a lot of variety of other things. But start slow with those foods. So the reason sunchokes make people have a lot of gas is because their gut's just not ready for the amount that they consumed. Starting with a small little tiny one, maybe thrown in a dressing or grated on a salad, be more consistent with your consumption of them, and that will grow your gut to be able to handle more inulin-rich foods. Then we have chicory. Chicory root is obviously one of the highest sources of inulin, and all the greens that come from the chicory, like there's endive, frisee, radicchio, all of that family is very high in inulin. So Nate and I eat a lot of endive and a radicchio. They're very bitter greens, but we've become so accustomed to them that we actually like the bitterness. We love having that bitter in our salads. It's very grounding, and it's very healing to the gut. So we do eat a lot more bitter greens now because we've just grown accustomed to them. Our gut has grown accustomed to them. So adding more chicory type foods into your diet can be helpful as well. And we all love jicama, I hope. Jicama is a great source. Yacon, if you can find it. Jicama is usually an easier one to find. It's such a high water content, wonderful source of inulin. You can grate it into a salad. You can blend a little chunk into a dressing. You can make jicama fries, just chopping it into fry shapes and eating it raw. So delicious. You can actually slice them super thin and make raw tacos with them. If you didn't want to make the hard shell corn ones, you can use thin slices of jicama, and they work really well as kind of like a little mini soft taco. So that's an option as well. Other things too that are inulin rich, like dandelion greens, are a really great source that you can add to your salads. Just get a bunch of dandelion greens and add a 1/4 cup every time you make a salad. Just chop up a little bit and add it in. There's asparagus as well, which is a great source too, and you can chop those up. I like to chop up the tops, put them in a salad, and then chop up the stalks and freeze those for future soups or stews or anything like that. And again, raw, we do raw soups, raw stews. We like to freeze it. And people have asked often, why do you freeze the vegetables? But when you freeze it, the water expands, and then when you thaw it, the fiber is just kind of like, and so the fiber is a little bit easier to chew, and it's got the texture of, say, something sauteed in a way, or steamed. So it's a great way to add harder vegetables to, say, a soup or a stew, that you kind of want that softer texture. And coming in these colder months, a lot of people say, how can I do raw in the colder months? Well, you can make raw soups and raw stews and raw curries. And we like to chop those ingredients like onions and carrots and celery and asparagus. And we'll put those in the freezer. And then when we do make a soup or stew, we just grab some of those frozen ingredients, thaw them in the dehydrator, and add them to our soups or stews. Adding chunky to soups, raw soups, like you just blend the base in the blender and you've got yourself a raw soup. But adding the chunky stuff from the freezer can actually help you to chew more your soup. So it's beneficial both ways. And then you've got other things like wild yam or burdock root. These can be grated into a salad. And there's a little bit of inulin in bananas too, but smaller amounts. So those are some sources of inulin. If you want to get the benefits for that, start adding some of those foods to your diet. Like I said, start slow. If they are causing any digestive issues, just go slow with it. Work with your body. And don't compare yourself to others. Just start slow and be consistent with it, just like you're going to the gym. Think of adding onion or jicama or sunchokes to your diet like you're going to the gym. You're gonna start slow, start with the 5-pound weights, do that for a little bit of time, and then work up. Work up to more in your salads, work up to more grated, work up to a little bit more added to your dressings or what have you, so that your gut can grow with the amount that you're eating. You're not overburdening it with way too much fiber at that moment, especially if you're coming from a diet that is lower in fiber or that is low in the inulin-rich foods. So hopefully this video helped you. Hopefully you learned something from it. And if you did, please click like. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the little bell if you want to get notifications sent to you whenever I post a new video. And don't forget, if you want to support us, if you want to add more raw food to your life, if you want to add more inulin-rich foods to your life, go check out our raw vegan recipe ebooks. They're fun, they're delicious. There's over 700 recipes, and all of our ebooks are 40% off right now with code RAWFOOD40. You can enjoy the wraps, the burgers, tacos, appetizers, soups, curries, salads and dressings galore, smoothies, and so much fun stuff in our ebooks. Again, the code is RAWFOOD40. The link is in the description box below. Head over there and see if there's anything that you like. If you want to support us again, that's a great way to do so. So until the next video, thank you again for joining and listening and hanging out with me. I love you, and fruit on.